All right, so you can go ahead and get in the man program where we're going to teach you how to do things financially, how to set yourself up, how to do the things that you need to do to be a financially free man and get you into this business world. And then in the future, we're going to get to the adult stuff. Essentially, I'm doing what I did with Disruptive Male, but essentially I am pushing forward all the business stuff first before we get into the adult stuff. And the only way you get to the adult stuff is you go through the business stuff and you get your money right, you get your wallet right, you get your bank accounts right, you get your credit right. All that's in the man course. So go ahead, and we're going to have this sale until the end of October. So go ahead and hit that, and I'll see you guys. Let's get into this video. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a different type of video. Internal rest grant unto them, O Lord. Let perpetual light shine upon them. May their souls and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen. Like the seed buried in the ground, you have produced a harvest of eternal life for us. Make us always dead to sin and alive to God. I feel that we're about to go through a spiritual transformation. First of all, the average American who works, has a house, the average American, man and woman, married couple, they're working, they cannot afford the average house, which is about $420,000. The same couple cannot afford to buy a car. In the same couple, and they can have good credit and they can do the things. And what I feel, I was watching a video of an OnlyFans girl talk about all of the changes that have happened to her since she's got into the OnlyFans business. And it was really, really interesting because she was talking about how she was proud to be doing that, but she was somewhat ashamed of the responses that she was getting from her customers. And I thought, you just said that you're ashamed of what you do in a very fancy way. And, she broke down and she started crying. So hoes and the homeless are going to be running to Jesus Christ like we've never seen before. Because I was just sitting here thinking about my situation here in the city and why I'm leaving. And one of the things that I really, really do notice is there's no common characters, if that's a good way to say it. I don't really know if that's a good way to say it, because one of my biggest issues is the lack of common courtesy. It almost happens every day where I'll leave the building, I'll come back, and there'll be someone in the driveway, not pulled over to the side, but actual in the driveway, just stopped. And then you honk at them, they get an attitude. And this is something I've noticed. This is a really, really crowded area. And typically, when I used to go to Lifetime Gym, one of my biggest issues was finding a place to park, because this is what people would do. They know that the parking lot is packed. They know this, right? And they would come out the gym, they would get in their car, they would start their car, but they wouldn't move because they would be doing this. They would be in their phone doing this with the car started, the lights on, and they know people want that parking spot, but I'm here and I want to be on my phone. And this is one of the things that is just very, very normal around here, that you have people who will stop in a public place in the middle, be on their phone. Like, I have actually caught several people. I actually got out of my car. And this is something I normally don't do, because there was a lady, I found out it was a lady, and she had pulled in the front and she had just stopped, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And she said, oh, I'm sorry. And she was on her phone. She felt that it was cool to be right in the middle in the park and to get on her phone. And one of the things I'm seeing is a lack of upbringing, common courtesy. And this is why I feel that this isn't happening right now. This is something I put 12 to 24 months in the future, where we're going to have a massive, massive return to Jesus. We're going to have a massive return to people getting to religion, because things have gotten so bad. You go back and you look at the TikTok videos, where all of these people are complaining about inflation. They're talking about how bad it is, how they're struggling, how they don't have no money, how hard they work, and they're going on and on and on. This is going to be, I think this is going to make the news, when you're going to see a massive return to religion, a massive return to, and here's the thing, and this is going to be a whole video, but how to be happy when you don't have anything. We're going to see a whole new mindset shift towards religion, towards being happy, towards doing certain things. We're going to see something that's going to be a little crazy. One of the things that I've noticed, and you can go ahead and go to YouTube and look at the ex-porn stars. There's a ton of ex-porn stars. There's a ton of them. And they'll get on there and they'll talk about the things that they're doing. And I can't remember her name, but she used to be with Charlie Sheen, and she was a porn star. And she was doing all of these videos where she'd be breaking down and crying and talking about how, because of her past, she couldn't go forward with her future. And there's a ton of women who will OnlyFans. There's so many sites. Let's just call them the cam sites. There's a ton of these sites that have all of these women on it. And one Saturday, I just decided to check some out. And you know, it's one of the things I've noticed about the vast majority of these people doing this thing. They don't have a nice place to live. I want you to think about this. I really, really want you to think about this. You're at home and you're going to strip off all your clothes. You're going to get butt naked on the internet. And you're struggling. I mean, the number of people that I saw doing this stuff, they were in tiny apartments. It was clear why they were doing what they were doing. That was really clear, because they were struggling. But what I consistently saw was a bunch of people who would do the most perverse things because they were struggling. These people were open to do anything. They would set up to do things because they were struggling. And some of these folks have shows and stuff. Like, I didn't get that deep because I'm not going to pay anybody to watch people do these things that they do. But I could tell that many of these folks are heading toward depression, because you could just see it in the things that they're doing. And there's a reason that you'll have someone who'll do OnlyFans, they'll do porn, they'll do this stuff, and they'll stop. They will stop because they cannot deal with the aftermath of doing that. Once you do this stuff and it gets on the internet and you've got, I think someone said that Kim Kardashian kids had an issue once they found out what she did to get to the Kim Kardashian fame. And if you don't know, Kim Kardashian used to be in a relationship with Ray J, who's Brandy's brother. And they made a porn tape, and that launched her career. That porn tape launched Kim Kardashian's career. And her kids are now old enough to understand what mommy did. And I'm not even going to look, but I'm quite sure if you really want to do a search, you could probably find that video on the internet. Because one of the things that I am seeing is, and this is why I'm saying we're going to have this massive, massive, massive return to religion, to running towards Jesus, is because, like my situation, I read the comments, and people are shocked. The video I took up here, leaving Buckhead, people were shocked at the things that are going on here, which tells me that there's a part of America where things are not like that. And these people are living there, and they're like, oh my God, that's horrible. That's terrible. And this is why I feel that cities are going to be first to go. This is why I'm getting out while I can, because one of the things that I am noticing is, and I'm noticing this with the homeless, the number of homeless people, if you pay attention, you can see their numbers are increasing. Like I said, I was in Sandy Springs for a long time, and I saw 2 homeless people. I've been in Buckhead for 2 years, and there used to be about 25 homeless people running around here. Now there's about 100. And that was the first 25 when I first moved here. Now there's 100. And the numbers are growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And the number of homeless people are growing, and the number of people who are turning to, let's call it internet sex work, internet porn, is exploding. And a lot of these young women, and I would say they're young, I would say 25 and below, they really have no clue to what they're getting themselves into. And this is going to be a big reason a lot of people are going to start running to Jesus, running to Christianity. I think Bible studies are about to explode because they'll get in there. Because when a woman puts herself on the internet in that capacity, and if she gets well known, there's, if you go on the internet and you do some of this stuff for maybe 2 or 3 weeks and you stop doing it, there's a really good chance that no one ever find out about it. But if you start doing hardcore porn and you get a little fame, guaranteed everyone in your friends, your family will know what you did. I guarantee it, because they're going to put it out there. Because this is kind of one of the things I see with evil. Because I want you to think, just stick with me for a minute. So you go out here, you do these internet sex work, right? And then there's a group of people who will make it well known what you did. They would push it. They would repost the videos. They would do all of this stuff to make sure that the people know what you used to do. And this is why I feel that a lot of these women are going to become born again virgins. They're going to step away from the internet. They're going to take some time. They're going to get into therapy, and they're literally going to be that girl that, like, you go on a date with her and things are going good, and she's like, look, I normally do not have sex really soon. It takes a little time. They're going to go from being that girl that was doing any and everything online or in porn to now it's like, you got to respect me to date me. And if they can keep that past hidden, they can get away with it. But I want you to think, if you're a guy and you're out here with this girl and, you know, you've been dating her for like 3 months and y'all haven't been intimate, and she tells you that, and you're like, you like her and everything, you're like, okay, cool. Then one day you're at work and then one of your friends is like, hey man, I need to show you something. And you're like, what? It's like, you know that girl you're dating? Is this her? And he'll hold up his phone and show her doing what she used to do. And at this point, you're gonna be pissed. It's like, wait a minute, I've been dating her, I've been taking her out, and she gave me that speech, and she used to be the internet hooker. There's gonna be, I think, becoming a therapist is gonna become a growth industry, because there's gonna be so many people who are gonna be emotionally wounded, that are gonna be hurt. They're gonna be really, really hurt because of their internet and their past lifestyles. And this is why we're going to have a massive running back to Jesus and back to religion. It's going to be massive because, once again, and this is something I pointed out, if you've noticed the number of attractive women who are making these TikTok videos talking about how financially stressed they are, it's only a mindset. It's only a quick minute, because there was this guy, he was interviewing this girl. I'm not going to mention her names, but you know, he went to her apartment and in the refrigerator, there was like literally a bundle of weed that would fill up this cap in the refrigerator. And they got to talking, and then she said these words: I do something in private. I do those things in private. And I immediately knew that she was talking about, she's doing OnlyFans or something. So I go to OnlyFans, bam, found her instantly. And there's going to be a lot of wounded, upset children when they find out that mommy and daddy, it's just not the women. It's just not the women. It's mom and dad used to do this. Because here's one of the things that I find to be really, really interesting. You have all of these people who will make this decision in a period of lack versus going to school, getting this real skill set, and they'll turn to these industries and they'll get into these things, and then they'll get older and they'll reflect back and they will not like the decisions that they made in the past. And this is kind of the thing. It's like, one of the things you notice is a lot of guys go to jail and they get into religion. It's like they've done whatever they did to land them in jail. Then all of a sudden these guys are now born again Christians. I mean, and it continues. Even when they get out, they're like, I had to take an Uber and this guy, he gave me this, right? So I'm telling you, it's starting. But I really see this really, really growing 24 months from now, because as things continue to melt down, as things continue to get worse, as things continue to get bad, this is when we're going to see a lot of people making that move back to Jesus and God and religion. Because, you know, I was thinking about that video I made about leaving Buckhead, and I left stuff out. I didn't tell everything. I left stuff out. And that video kind of took off, and people were like, really? And this is one of the things that I can actually look back at. Number one, I'm glad I moved to the city, because I did get that experience and I enjoyed that experience. I don't regret that move. And, you know, it's time to leave. So I'm going to leave. And part of this is this whole notion of people who do not understand the situation that they're in. Because, like I said, the number of people who got evicted, and I saw the comments, it was staggering. It was staggering. The number of folks who, and I saw a comment that was talking about fake paychecks, fake pay stubs. And it kind of brought up to mind this girl who had a car repossessed, then did some credit repair and got another car and got that one repossessed, did some more credit repair and got another car. So this girl's had 2 cars repossessed, and she's still out here playing around, messing around with credit, versus just going out and get her a beta car to get her to point A and B. And that's the mindset that you see with these people with no long-range prognosis. There's no long-range prognosis at all with any of this thoughts. And once it hits, and once they get to that point, and once they get to that level, this is when we're going to see this big social, spiritual change. Because they're going to tap out on their money, they're going to tap out on their tricks, they're going to tap out on their credit repair, and it's wild. And this is kind of funny. The guy, it's Daniel Mack, the guy who runs up to people in nice cars and is like, "What do you do for a living?" The number of people who do this internet sex worker, you can automatically tell because they don't want to talk about it. And they're like, "Oh, I'll do something on the internet," or it's friendships or social media stuff, which is a complete and utter lie. And we're going to have a big, big return to people going back to Jesus. It's really, really crazy. It's going to happen.